Hey everybody, this is Captain Yeet here for you for a DannyPhantom episode review. This is going to be DannyPhantom Season 1, Episode 1, titled Mystery Meat. So, let's get into it. So, this episode starts off with the three main characters of this show, DannyPhantom, and in his superhero persona is DannyPhantom. He's right there huffing and breathing. On the right, we got his two best friends, Tucker and Sam. And Sam is holding the Fenton thermos. And they're talking to Danny's dad because he is a ghost hunter. And it's kind of funny because I don't know how the conversation came up. Because while they were sitting down here, some ghost came through the ghost portal that his dad made. Danny had to fight them off. His dad, you know, cartoon logic, is turned around talking and working on stuff. Doesn't hear Danny fighting off ghosts for his life. That's when he turns back around. The ghosts are gone. You know, so cartoon logic, you know, they're already gone. That's why Danny's like huffing and puffing. And like I said, I don't know how the conversation came up because his dad says, so, you guys want to become ghost hunters just like me. And Danny goes, no, I kind of want to be an astronaut. Sam says no because ghosts are too mainstream like cell phones. And Tucker says no because he's too smart and he doesn't really have the body for that. And I was like, if they never said they want to become ghost hunters, how did the conversation, like, why did he think that? And he got him sat down and everything in front of places and stuff, so it's whatever. And his dad also mentioned that the Fenton thermos doesn't work. And this is what his dad looks like, and his real name is Jack Fenton. And he's a pretty big guy. I mean, this guy is gigantic. He's a pretty big guy. He's stalking all over. That's not stalking, but, you know, towering over them. And they're like 15, 14, Tam, Sucker, and Danny. Anyway, after that whole spiel, we get the theme song, and the theme song explains, well, the origin of Danny. So Danny's mom and dad are ghost hunters, and they made a ghost portal. They tried to activate it one day, and it didn't work. So they kind of just gave up. Danny walks inside the ghost portal, and there's a button that says on and off. Oh, why did you put the button there? I don't know. But he clicks on, and the ghost portal turns on, and it kind of scrambles his DNA. So now he's half ghost, half human. So he has ghost powers. He can turn into a ghost, fly around, turn intangible, take control of people. He's DannyPhantom now. And the ghost portal, Jack mentioned that it just keeps opening. And he can't control it closing or opening. So it'll just randomly open and a ghost will fly out and terrorize the town. So Danny has to stop them. Obviously they don't know about that. They don't know Danny has powers yet. He hasn't told them. But it's kind of wild that he has a portal to like a ghost world. And he can't control whatever it opens or closes. And anything just come out. So that's pretty bad. I mean, yeah, that's pretty bad. We get to see what Danny looks like when he turns into a ghost. He gets white hair and glowing green eyes. Yeah, that's part of the song. I'm not gonna sing it though. Don't want to get in trouble. Don't want to get in trouble too much. But as you can see, it just opens up and he has to fight off the ghost. So after that, cut back to me. We get the title card. Every episode has a title card. We get to see the house. And the house it's like a decent sized 2-story house, but at the top of it is all that ghost gear. And it's like, I don't know how they got this like legalized. You see this? It's like gigantic. This is pretty wild. We got the Danny having breakfast with his mom, dad, and sister. He has an older sister named Jazz. Danny's like 15, 14. Jazz is supposed to be a little bit older than her, so she's like, I think 16? No, not 16. I don't know how old she is actually. She's older than Danny, but I don't think it's like by like a huge amount. I forgot how old she is though. It's been a couple years since I watched DannyPhantom. Anyway, while he's eating breakfast with his family, his mom and dad are working. Well, his mom Maddie, is working on a Fenton ghost tracker. His ghost power starts to act up, so he starts to phase through the floor, and his hands starting to get visible and stuff. And the mom finally finished the Fenton finder. You're supposed to find ghosts with this thing, and it tracks down Danny because he has half ghost powers. But obviously they're thinking, oh, this thing is broken. This thing can't work. Jazz gets a bit mad because she thinks them trying to find ghosts and all this stuff is going to corrupt Danny's brain. Here we go. So I'm trying to find a good picture of Jazz. That's his older sister right there, Jazz. Like I said, I think she's 16, 17 because she's supposed to be a little older than Danny, but by like a gigantic margin by like 5+ years. I don't think so. Because she's 16. I remember that because she's 16. Danny's supposed to be 15, I think. Like I said, it's been a while, so I don't know. I'm just stuck on the same point. I don't know what's irking me. I'm like, how old is he? Anyway, Jazz thinks that them trying to hunt ghosts and all this other stuff is going to corrupt Danny's mind, so she wants to drive Danny to school. And Jack and Maddie, the mom and dad, are really confused because they're like, what? She never offers to take Danny to school. And the dad goes, oh, that's because that's not her daughter. That's a ghost. And the mom's not really on board with the idea, but I mean, hey, anything's possible, I guess. So we cut to school, and Danny, he's really panicking because he said it's been a month since the accident, and he still can't control his ghost powers. He doesn't know what he's going to do. He's thinking about telling his mom and dad that he has the powers. Sam says they shouldn't do that because parents just don't understand kids whenever they try to change or be themselves. And she's a golf girl, so she thinks she thinks like she knows. We see her parents that are on the series. They're not really going to understand if you know them. But you know, they're not really accepting of her being a golf. And she starts to spaz out. And Tucker and Danny both look at her and they're like, we're talking about Danny. She's like, oh yeah, I know. And Danny starts to phase through the ground. He starts to beat himself up because he kind of thinks like, my parents don't really make anything that work. And the one time they do, it turns me to half ghost. I wish they could make something turn me back into a human. Sam says that he shouldn't need that. He's half ghost now. He has cool powers and makes him unique. And being unique is awesome because she's like ultra recycle vegetarian. And Tucker doesn't really like that because he likes to eat meat. He said he's been going on a 14-year streak now, all meat diet. And he can smell meat too. He literally sniffs Danny and he can tell what kind of meat he had last night. That's pretty wild. Sam says that his streak is finna break because he changed the menu. So he finally wore down the school system. Tucker's kind of scared, and when they walk into the cafeteria, the new menu is literally grass on a bun. So, that is so stupid. What is this menu? Why would they feed this to kids? Obviously, you know, it's supposed to be funny. It's a cartoon. But I remember I was laughing at this as a kid. I was like, what? That's just like, you know, like some grass on a piece of bun. On a piece of bread. I meant to say bread. On a piece of bread. That's so stupid. That is so stupid. Oh my goodness. Anyway, we cut back over to Danny's house, and a ghost comes through, a lunch lady. I'm going to show the lunch lady later on when we get a better look at her. Anyway, while she comes through the portal, Jack and Maddie made a new machine, the Fenton Extractor. It basically looks like a vacuum. They're going to surprise Jazz when she comes back home and suck the ghost right out of her. And Maddie goes, you know, Jack, I mean, this is a good idea, but what if it hurts our daughter? What if she isn't a ghost? It could hurt her. And he goes, Maddie, don't you worry. This doesn't actually hurt actual humans. It only hurts humans when, well, if it gets in their hair. And I'm like, if you saw the picture I just saw you, Jazz has really long hair. And this is like a vacuum cleaner. So I don't know. I don't know about this. But Jack really wants to use this thing to get the ghost out of his daughter because he really thinks there's a ghost in her. So I gotta do something. Let me put this back up there. We see, we cut back over to Danny, and his teacher, Mr. Lancer, comes over to congratulate Sam for making this new ultra recyclable, such a weird name, ultra recyclable vegetarian menu. And Tucker can smell meat on Mr. Lancer. But Mr. Lancer's like, oh, no, I don't have any meat on me. The rumors about an all meat steak buffet in the teacher's lounge, those are all rumors. So it's okay. Then we get the lunch lady. I gotta take the towel off again. It's just like back to back, you know. Then we got over to the ghost lunch lady coming into the cafeteria looking around for the meat. And here's what she looks like. You know, really nice old lunch lady, nothing too crazy. We cut over to Danny, and his ghost sense goes off. His ghost sense is basically, he gets like a feeling in his body, and his mouth opens, and like this light blue, like smoke comes out of his mouth. And whenever he feels that, whenever he sees the light blue smoke, he knows, oh, there's a ghost nearby. He's going, uh-oh, something's going on. We gotta go. But then a new character comes up. His name is Dash. He's basically Danny's bully, so like Spider-Man and the Flash Thompson. It kind of looks like him too, which is kind of funny. Anyway, he's really mad because he asked for 3 mud pies, and they gave him actually 3 mud pies, mud from the ground. These are supposed to be the best years of his life, and he can't waste them away eating actual mud from the ground. all because his girlfriend wanted to change the menu. And he's like, that's not my girlfriend. Then he makes Danny eat the mud. Danny doesn't eat the mud. He throws the mud onto Dash. And he goes, garbage fight. So it starts a huge food fight so they're able to sneak away. But that's kind of wild. He was going to bully Danny to actually eat the mud. That's kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. I'm like, what are the teachers at? And they walk in the back of the cafeteria and do the food where they make the food. And the ghost lunch lady is asking Danny and Sam and Tucker, where's all the meat at? And then Tucker tells her, like, oh, the meat's gone. She changed the menu. And she gets really mad, the ghost lady, because she goes, the menu hasn't changed in 50 years. Are you joking me? So she starts spazzing, and Danny tells him to get behind him. And he goes and ghosts. Well, going ghost, that's what he says whenever he turns into his ghost form. Which is pretty cool. I really like how whenever he goes ghost, oh, I paused it. Whenever he goes ghost, a white, you see that white ring pops around his, middle area of his body, and it goes around his whole body to come up. And then whenever he turns back into a human, the white ring pops back up and goes over his whole body again to turn him back. It's just a really cool way to transform and de-transform. Just a white ring coming over you and coming off of you. Anyway, Danny doesn't really know how to use his powers too well, so he just says, I command you to stop. The ghost isn't really listening, and this ghost can control anything lunch theme, really. So it grabs all the dishes to throw at Danny. He turns intangible, lets all the dishes fly through him. Then she throws some dishes at Sam and Tucker, and in order to go faster, Danny can put his two legs together and make somewhat of a mermaid tail to go faster. Any ghost can really do this. It's kind of cool when he does it too, because he can zoom really quicker. I mean, he can go really quick without doing that, but he can go a lot faster when he makes the mermaid tail type thing. So it's not really much of a fight right here. It's really just Danny catching plates and stuff to make sure it doesn't hit his friends. Eventually, she turns 3 ovens and makes them come alive. So Danny has to grab Tucker and Sam and face through the wall. Anything that he touches, he can make, it's really just a tangible power. It's not just anything. But if he turns intangible, he can touch anything else, turn that intangible, and he can go through walls or whatever. So he grabs Sam and Tucker. They both face through the wall, and then they're in the hallway. But as soon as they get into the hallway, boom, the lunch lady's there. She doesn't really get a name. It's just really the ghost lady, the ghost lunch lady. She's there, and she takes all the meat in the area and makes a suit of meat armor around her. And then we get a joke about the teacher's lounge. They actually did have an all-meat buffet, but the lunch lady took all the meat to make the meat suit of armor around her, so it was all gone. And Lancer, I don't know why. I mean, obviously I'd be mad too, because they went to go eat and it was gone. He goes, ugh! He just punches the table. He goes, Paradise Lost! He was so mad. That was funny. And like I said, she makes a huge meat golem. Well, I guess if she's wearing it, it doesn't count as a golem, but yeah, she just wears the meat as a huge suit of armor. So she goes to grab Sam, and he punches Danny, and Danny de-transforms. He tries to turn back into his ghost form, but then Lancer, he grabs them and puts him in detention. He grabs their files, the school files, and he goes over them, and he goes, you guys have been not in any serious trouble. You guys have done some stupid stuff, like Tucker always laundering around the girls' locker room. Danny, he dropped at least 36 beakers in the last month, so he's banned from touching anything fragile. But you guys aren't troublemakers, so why would you destroy the cafeteria? They tried to explain, it was Dash. He was trying to make us eat mud. But he's off the hook. Why? Because he plays football. And he landed about 6 to 7 touchdowns last game. So the school won. So he's exempt from any punishment. So they have to get punishment. That is so stupid. I would have been spazzed. Anyway, Tucker says, we need to hurry up and get Sam. I kind of feel bad that she got kidnapped. I kind of feel like it's my fault. Danny's like, well, I mean, yeah. You're the one that told the ghost lady that she changed the menu. Right. So we gotta go. So Danny turns back into a ghost, grabs Tucker, faces to the ground. Lancer comes back in, and he starts spazzing because they're gone. So, yeah. They go down to the basement area with all the frozen meat and stuff. So while they're looking around for Sam, they see the lunch lady trying to convince Sam to eat meat because it's actually good. Well, the lunch lady just says meat can do anything that vegetables can do. Sam's not about that because he's a recyclable vegetarian. So she's trying to convince her to eat meat. Sam's not budging, and she's trapped in like a pile of meat. So Danny says, okay, you get Sam out of the pile of meat, I'll handle the ghost. Tucker's like, no problem. He pulls out a knife and a fork. The man's Torco out here. He goes, no problem. So he goes to eat all the meat that's trapping Sam while Danny rushes in to fight the ghost lady. And he comes in with a mean sucker punch, man. I mean, look at this. He sends this ghost lady flying. Wham! That's what I'm talking about, boy. Look. Oh, and he actually says wham, too. I forgot. I forgot that actually pops up. But that was pretty funny. And Tucker, he starts to eat all the meat that's surrounding her. So, Danny tries to come in to kick her in the face, but she catches it easily. And she says the reason that she's able to do this is because she eats her meat. Look at him. He's just skin and bones and throws him to the side. Danny faces through the wall, so he has to come back. And then she makes the meat golem again. And all the meat that was trapping Sam, like, comes off her because she gets all the meat here. And it's pretty bad because, well, in the frozen area of the school, there's plenty of meat here to work with. So Danny gets in trouble a little bit, and he gets kind of thrown around. It's not too good for him. So he has to grab Tucker and Sam again and face through the wall to get out of there. And then while they're flying around, Sam's like, wow, you've been fighting this lady all day, phasing in and out, turning on and off with your ghost powers. You must be white. Danny's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he passes out and lands on the ground. So they have to carry Danny all the way home. So we cut over to Jazz coming home. And as soon as he gets home, like they said at the beginning of the episode, or somewhat near the beginning, they jump her and try to use the fit and distract her to get the ghost out of her. And it doesn't work. She's not a ghost. So all it does is really suck her hair into the thing. Then Sam and Tucker bring Danny home. And then Jack, I'm just going to name, Jack looks at Danny. And Manny goes, come on, he's not a ghost. He goes, yeah, I know. It's our daughter. So we cut to Danny's room, and Danny wakes up, and Tucker said it's been 4 days. Danny's like, what? 4 days? He goes, nah, I'm just joking, man. It's just been like a couple hours. And Sam tells him to cool out. Then Sam and Tucker both argue at each other, because Sam's like, this is your fault for telling the ghost lady I changed the menu. And then Tucker's like, well, this is your fault. If you didn't change the menu at all, the ghost lady won't even come here. They both rush out and slam the door. Danny's like, geez Louise. Hopefully things will go back to normal tomorrow. As soon as he gets back to school, no. Tucker drew like a huge protest party for meat on like one side of the school. On the other side of the school, Sam, she threw a whole protest party for he threw a whole protest party for meat. And then on the other side of the school, Sam threw a whole protest party for vegetarians. And Danny's like, what in the world? Y'all two made a whole protest thing overnight? And Tucker's like, yeah, people are always ready to fight. That's why we're always energized and stuff. We eat meat. Sam's like, well, we don't have to spend time cooking our food. That's why we are even more prepared. So they look, Danny, either with me or with him. Who do you choose? The ghost lady comes back and she has quadruple to meat to work with. She has quadruple of the meat to work with because of all the meat outside for the protest. So she turns her meat armor, into a gigantic Godzilla version. So now Danny really has to put in some work to fight this thing. I mean, look at this. It's gigantic now. It's gigantic. And he really have to put in some work to fight this thing. So he tells them to make up. And I always found this cool as a kid. I don't know why. I mean, it's kind of, so there's sometimes when there's a lot of people around and Danny doesn't have somewhere to hide to turn into ghost. So Sam and Tucker would hug him and then he'll turn into a ghost. I'm like, oh, like, I don't know why, but as a kid, I found that so cool because, they're covering most of him whenever they hug. I paused it. I keep forgetting that. They cover most of him when they hug. And then boom, he turns into a ghost. Like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess that can somewhat work if the guy's small enough. But Danny's not that small, so I don't know. So we cut over to Jazz, and she's talking to this emo kid named Spike, and she's telling she's telling him to come out to his parents that he's emo or goth. I mean, goth, I guess same thing somewhat. Well, to me, I don't know what the official terminology is, but to me, same thing. And while she's talking to him, Jack has like a fishing net and grabs her and pulls her in. And Maddie's like, huh, how come the ghost is, if she's a ghost, how come she's not phasing through the net? Awfully Jazz is like, cause I'm not a ghost. What are y'all doing? You're gonna corrupt Danny's mind. I almost had a breakthrough with Spike. You keep assaulting me at my own home in school. What is wrong with you? Jack at first isn't really trying to hear it, and he tries to use the fenton thermos, but then he starts to think to himself like, huh, maybe I am doing too much. And then we cut back over to Danny fighting the ghost lunch lady. And then he does a pretty mean kick on the side of her, and it actually sends her packing a little bit. So he's decently strong. And then Sam and Tucker's like, wow, okay, he's actually getting pretty good. That's pretty nice. And then she punches him, and Danny goes flying. He goes flying so much that he phases through a whole plane, and he has to come back down like a missile to explode her meat armor, which is pretty cool. I'm not gonna front, that was pretty cool. Anyway, the meat flies everywhere. She pretends that she's kind of nice to him, but as he makes a ton of meat golems. In the meat golems, Danny's able to cut with his foot, but then they can like reassemble. So they grab Danny and fly him up into the sky, and then Danny transforms. And then he starts to fall out of the sky. And Jack says, you know what? From here on, I'm going to give up ghost hunting. And he throws the fitting thermos over to the side. Then he catches it and he goes, okay, I got it. But how am I going to make it work? And he transforms back into a ghost. He grabs the fitting thermos. He goes back over to the ghost lunch lady. And he turns invisible. And he also, okay. My bad. He grabs the thermos. Then he flies past his mom and dad as a ghost. Jack goes, oh, hey, those ghosts are real. I wasn't overreacting. Let's go, baby. You're wrong. I'm right. And he starts to dancing in front of his daughter. Then he goes back over to the lunch lady, turns invisible, charges up the fitting thermos, grabs her, and sucks her into the fitting thermos. So, boom. And the fitting thermos sort of just shoots out a beam, and it grabs a ghost, and then sucks him in there. And then you're able to shoot the ghost back out, the fitting thermos, but they only do that when they're in the ghost zone, obviously. Then that's when they just let it back out into the real world. So that's good. Anyway, after that, Danny says that he decides he's not going to tell his parents after his parents turn on the fit and finder to find the ghost boy. And it goes right over to Danny. And Danny goes, oh, you just missed him. He was right over there. They go, what? We'll be right back, Danny. I run past. And they're like, well, you're not going to tell your parents? He goes, nah, I'm not. I think I finally realized what these powers are for. They're for... And then Lancer comes over and grabs his shoulder. For you to be in a world of trouble. I'm pretty sure he didn't hear the first part, but thank goodness, because he was just talking a lot about his powers. And so Danny, Tucker, and Sam have to pick up all the meat that was thrown around school from this big fight. And it was kind of funny because Lancer told Sam to pick up like a T-bone. He just goes, ugh, with my hands. And then Tucker has to pick up the grass on bread. He goes, ugh, with my hand. Is eventually Dash. He's like leaning against the garbage can that's beside Danny, and he starts laughing at them. Danny gets mad, touches the garbage can, turns it intangible. All the meat just falls on the Dash, and he goes, ugh, oh my goodness, this is disgusting. Yo, Fenton, help me. He goes, no problem, Dash, no problem. End the episode. So yeah, that was pretty good. Pretty good. I love DannyPhantom, man. I really love it. I remember I used to watch it with my dad all the time. I even watched it back in the day. I really love this show. I love this show so much. I was really debating if I should do DannyPhantom or El Tigre, because I'm going to lose Paramount in like September. If I could pay for it, I was going to do El Tigre, then Danny. But I really wanted to do Danny first. And I was like, well, I can only do El Tigre because I'm going to lose this in September. But no, I can just pay for Paramount Plus again. I can just pay and get it again for a year or so. Just whatever. So, oh yeah, I can just do that. Okay then, I guess I'll do DannyPhantom first, which is pretty cool. So I guess I'll do Danny, and then after that I'll do El Tigre, or something else might pop up, I don't know, but I'll probably do Danny. I love Danny. I love Danny so much, man. I remember the Nicktoons games, like Nicktoons Unite, Battle for Volcano Island, Attack of the Toy Bots. I remember specifically with Attack of the Toy Bots, before I unlocked Danny to play with him, you could only play as Danny in the multiplayer. So I always hook up another controller and just play as Danny, just to play as Danny. I remember used to do that. Or when I went over to my friend's house who had Volcano Island because I didn't have it, I will always just, pick Danny instantly. I'm like, no. I'll play Danny the whole game until we get to the very end against the Magu. Then I think I switched to SpongeBob or whoever else. But most of the game I was only Danny because I love Danny Phantom. So I'm like, this is a really cool show. But I'll be here next Monday for Danny Phantom. So like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. Thank you all for watching. I think you'll all definitely be wonderful human beings, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. All right.